Travis Wayne Goodsell, back from my run. Finished with the song Breathless by the Corrs. And this was the first time since last year that I ran with just the shorts and the t-shirt, no sweats. And then the cool down song was the Letters to Cleo version of Cruel to Be Kind, Nick Lowe being the original one. I've got several different videos in mind for today. I made a little video segment of the evidence of criminality against by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints towards me, and I think I'll add that to the beginning of all my videos from now on. And so I have a video planned for talking about that one as well. The video this video, I think I'll do the follow-up on the Daybell Vallow case with their missing children. Most people are aware of this. It's hit national news. One of the news stations did a segment claiming that they were going to go into the religion that nobody has done before. No, they still didn't do it. But it's from my old homestead of Rexburg, Idaho, where I went to Ricks, but that's where my grandparents Goodsell lived. They don't live there anymore, they're dead. My grandpa built the house out there as he built another house on the road from Ricks as you go, and then it turns to go south, maybe. His house is still there, still lived in by someone. I don't think they're a family member. My grandpa's other house that survived the flood, which I did a story on that, or a video on that, I think on my website, so I don't think you can have access to it anymore, because videos were for upgraded people and they destroyed me, so I'm no longer upgraded, thanks to the church, because the church invests and therefore owns the Squared.com, who took over my website. And the day after I filed my lawsuit, they shut me down. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, Travis. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that the church also invests in Google, which is the analytical program they claimed they were using. So, I won't talk about considering them a fringe group. I think we'll make that another video, whereas I'm going to talk about how Christianity are not one Christian group. So I'm going to need time to explain that, because otherwise everybody's going to be pissed at me. So we'll stick to the Daybell Vallow psychopaths, and that's what they are. The news video, however, the woman they were interviewing as an expert is not an expert. Daybell had a near-death experience, or was into near-death experiences. I think he was in a coming back to life situation, and claimed to have gone to the spirit world and therefore based his religious views upon his meeting with those in the spirit world, as he believes. Heaven forbid if it were just a dream. And the woman interviewed thinks that they're a necromancy cult. Necromancy is where you communicate with the dead. He does not follow necromancy cults in that he doesn't have a seance to continue to communicate with the dead. It was just his near-death experience that he had. That one and only experience, and he's basing the rest of his life on it. And they embraced other people claiming a near-death experience, and so in that way they're a near-death experience cult rather than a necromancy cult, because they literally died, whereas necromancers don't die. And this is why the Mormons are somewhat curious about it. As one Rexburg, Idaho girl was telling the news, I think she was a Ricks College student. She looked young enough. And I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, and is because you're not actually communicating with the dead. You just had a near-death experience, and people empathize with a person who's actually died and was brought back to life by doctors. And so Mormons are desperate for validation for their religion. And when the church leaders are not doing it, Mormons therefore reach out themselves for validation of their religion. That's similar to me. I didn't do it through the death thing. But I did it through studying ancient languages. Because again, the church leaders aren't doing it. And if we're going to validate our religion, we need to validate the ancient method of translation that Joseph Smith used. So, this is the problem that the church is not dealing with. And as I have proof, they're criminals, which means they have no authority. Remember Section 121, Mormons. Amen. And so Mormonism is fracturing, and that's where I wanted to talk about the different Christian groups, different Mormon groups as well. Because they're not the same organization. They're completely separate and distinct organizations, all claiming to be from the original seed. Vallow is in Rexburg, as you guys know. She's unable to get anybody to bail her out because the bail bondsmen there in Rexburg are saying, hell no, woman. And it's not just because of a flight risk, as everybody's speculating. It's because she betrayed the people. You don't disappear your kids. And that's why the bail bondsmen aren't allowing her bail. They're taking it upon themselves to keep her locked up until she confesses where her kids are. So, yay for them. Yeah, she's continuing to be defiant and is going to, as her defense, claim that it's all just circumstantial that she has neglected and abandoned her kids. She's not telling us what happened to them, though. That's the concern, is that all she had to do in Hawaii was say, oh, I gave the kids to so-and-so in Yellowstone or wherever. They're perfectly fine. I'm on communication with a regular basis. But she's not doing that, is she? All she had to do was say, yeah, the kids are with so-and-so. We're on vacation in Hawaii. But they couldn't do that. They were actually missing. And the reason why is because she murdered her husband, and others were murdered as well. The guy's wife was murdered. Her new husband's wife was murdered, Daybell's wife. And so, when you cover up, you have all credibility gone. Just like the church. They tried to cover up the evidence that I presented at the beginning of this video. Not just the lawsuit, by having it sealed so that you don't have the Freedom of Information Act rights to it. But as you can see, I'm perfectly fine with releasing it. See, if you're innocent, you have nothing to fear. But and then the church covered up the fact that they were paying Dr. Cohn. And so it's the same thing in life. When you have people trying to cover it up, refusing to answer what's going on, it means there's something wrong. They can try to claim that it's the deep state that's out to get them. The corrupt government, but that only works if you're like me. But again, as you can see, I'm having no problems releasing all the information as long as it's made public and not kept secret. Alrighty, that's the Daybell Vallow update.